When this restaurant first opened in London in the late 60s, it was the destination for music stars like Paul McCartney, Elton John, and Mick Jagger. And today in New York, Mr. Chow is still very popular among music makers, including our first guest who fell in love with the place when she lived upstairs. Now, the day we dined together, the restaurant wasn't even open, but for Kathie Lee Gifford, anything was possible. Mr. Chow, it's just for you.
Mr. Chow's, and we have it all to ourselves.
It's true. Well, why Mr. Chow's? Of all the places in New York, why did you choose to come here?
Well, I'm not much of a cook.
Uh-huh.
And this used to be our kitchen. Frank and I had an apartment in this very building for 10 years. And when...
I lived upstairs.
Yes, lived upstairs on the 14th floor. And whenever I had a hankering for my favorite thing in all the world, which is the squab and the peanut chicken, I just... Room service.
So you actually get room service? So
Room service.
I bet you probably had Michael Chow deliver it once or twice.
I've never actually even met Michael Chow.
When artist, actor, and restaurateur Michael Chow opened his first restaurant in London in 1968, it quickly became the spot for hungry mod scenesters. He went on to open celebrity-filled outposts in Beverly Hills and New York, but with the recent opening of Euro Chow in LA, an Italian-Chinese concept, the Chow Empire has seen a renaissance. We asked Michael Chow, what is the secret of Mr. Chow's success?
3 reasons I can think of, which is good food, and good food.
It's the good food that's kept Kathie Lee coming here for years.
Okay.
You know what?
I'm excited.
I had heard that about the squab dish with
Yes.
the lettuce, which is sort of like a Peking duck light. So that's going to
You've
be...
never had it?
I had it the other night, yeah. It's good.
Oh, in your life, right? I mean, I've been around a little bit. I've had a few meals in my time. This is the best.
This is a guest who's going to eat. Now, we have some guests who don't eat. You know, they air kiss their food. You're going to eat.
Oh, I'm a Russian peasant at heart. I'm going to eat. Thank you.
While she's best known as Regis's playful partner,
Wait a minute. You got 100?
No problem.
I didn't know you had a pelvic thrust in you, Reg.
Kathie Lee's first love is music. In 1977, she became the featured singer on the game show Name That Tune. The show launched her nightclub career. And 15 years later, Kathie Lee struck out on her own, starred in a Broadway musical, said goodbye to partner Regis, and released an original album entitled Born for You. Kathie Lee's newfound freedom and exuberance was apparent, especially when the food arrived.
Oh, let me hear that.
Oh my gosh. This is, without a doubt, the best thing I've ever eaten in my entire
Now,
life.
do you really know what
Our lunch included seaweed with sesame-seeded crab, chicken satay with creamy peanut sauce, and Kathie Lee's favorite, the signature squab with iceberg lettuce.
I know it's minced squab, it's seasonings.
It's cucumber, mushrooms, bamboo shoots. Now get ready. I don't want to spoil the illusion. It's chicken. It's not squab.
I don't give a rip. It's
Okay,
the
have
best
one.
thing I've
Well,
ever
show-
eaten in
show
my life.
folks- show folks how you put it together.
It's almost like a little tortilla. It's
Right.
chilled lettuce leaf.
Iceberg. It's the best use of iceberg lettuce I know.
Yes, it really is. And then I go heavy on this. It's not squab. It used to be squab, didn't it? I was always
Well,
told.
squab in London, that's what they did on The Secrets of the Kitchen.
you know,
when you're
it
on the
doesn't
Food
matter
Network,
to
you get
me.
these Secrets of the Kitchen. That's,
A little
that's a
hoisin
plum sauce.
Little hoisin, never hoit. A little hoisin, never hoit. And then
Give you one
the
of these.
seaweed. They
Seaweed
usually
for-
give you the.
Oh, you put the seaweed in there?
Yes, I've never had the
You
other
know,
thing.
I
And
was
then
here
you
the
gotta
other
do
night.
that
They
like
told me
that.
not to do that.
They're wrong. I'm sorry, they're wrong.
Don't do that, Mr. Boggs.
Really? Why?
I don't know.
Oh, no. Then you wrap it, see, like this. And then shall I give you the first bite?
Thank you. Divert your eyes while I take a bite.
It's so Tom Jones,
Yummy.
baby. Okay.
Oh, baby, Kathie Lee is right. So let's go into the kitchen at Mr. Chow's to see how that squab dish is made. As we said, the squab is actually diced chicken. Then they add bamboo shoots, shiitake mushrooms, and cucumbers. The ingredients are simply stir-fried with a little salt, sugar, and dark soy sauce for color. Sesame oil is added, and the dish is ready to go.
How about making me one, okay?
You being the man, me being the woman servant?
Well,
Sure.
because
My pleasure.
No, because
it's fine.
I'm going to do the talking while you do the making. That you
It's
got
my
you got
pleasure.
a new album out, Born for
do.
You, with wonderful songs on it. Your goal is to record 4 albums. You began as a singer. Does it ever bother you?
4 albums this year.
4 albums in a year.
Yeah.
Does it ever bother you that people have such an identification with you as a talk show host that they won't give you credit for being a singer, which is essentially how you began on Name That
Tune. You know what year that was? That was 1977, and the years have just flown by. And I don't care what they say. I'm sorry, it's got to have this. Don't you think,
Right, I
Brian?
want
It's
that.
got to have this.
All right.
And then you just roll it like a little tortilla.
Thank you.
And if you don't have this stuff in your teeth by the end of the night, you've not had enough. You got to leave with with seaweed in every tooth.
You grew up on the Chesapeake Bay. So you obviously in your life spent a fair amount of time eating crabs and having crab feasts, right? Tell me what a typical crab feast was like for you and your family and your sister and your
It was an all-day-long affair. All day long. My father, oh my gosh, you love crabs.
Yeah, because
Oh my gosh.
we got crabs and there's
Now,
one...
somebody brought them to me at my studio this morning. Are these the same crabs?
No, we serve our own fresh crabs.
Oh,
these
thank
are
you,
not
Brian.
these are not pre-served crabs, but they're served for a reason. I want you to show all of our Food Network viewers how a pro like you, who grew up on the Chesapeake Bay, picks a crab.
Nobody does it better.
All right, let's see.
Except for my daddy. My daddy's legendary on the Chesapeake Bay.
All right, we're going to clear the shot here.
Okay, don't take the wine too far.
As-
A girl has to.
As Stephen Sondheim said, send in
the
the crabs. Okay.
This is for you, Stephen. Love being on Broadway with you.
Isn't it
baby.
rich?
Yes. Isn't it queer that we're just here? Okay, first of all, you want to make sure it's not a female crab. No, these are both. Sometimes they're small, so it's hard to tell.
It's a problem in
All
life.
right. Now everybody has their own way. Stop it, girls.
Kathie Lee
You can
starts
use it
by
on
removing
other
the
seafood
legs.
as well.
Then,
So then what you do is this little, it's like a little tab, this thing.
Sure.
You go in there, pull it back,
Right.
and pull it off, and
I didn't get
discard
my
it.
tab
That's
out
not
yet.
edible. Yeah, you got to get
Okay,
the tab
I got
out.
it. Okay.
Then, this is the only reason I will ever ruin a good manicure is for crabs. Anytime. Then you stick your thumb in there and pull it aside.
Okay.
You take a crab like this,
Okay.
split it. Now you have two halves.
Right.
Now you take this middle stuff. This is all.
See that?
Some
okay?
people
Good.
eat it. Now, if this were bright yellow, I would eat it, but
Right.
not
So,
that
so
color.
your basic crab view of this is not a good crab.
Not a good crab.
Too
You're gonna have
light.
very little meat, and then you sort of press it together to get it sort of open. So my father uses a knife for all of this.
But you just do this right with the hands.
Yeah, and then you pull it. Then you got some crab.
Let me say, in your whole life, when you were a teenager at the crab feast, you're playing volleyball, softball, eating crabs. How many crabs, the most crabs you ever ate in one day?
Bushels.
But you personally?
Probably 2 dozen.
A couple dozen in a day?
But we would only eat fat crabs.
and the claw.
Heavy knife, put it on its side, and you're not supposed to whack at it. People use hammers. It's really not best to use
Just
a
a
hammer.
knife.
You're supposed to give it one little whack. Oh, see, they're not. And then pull it apart, and you'll have. I'm sorry, but we're demonstrating on a less
I'm
than
telling you, the crab,
a
you
less
know,
than
just-
lovely crab.
Crab was not ready for camera
No,
today.
this
You
is
know,
not
that's always
camera ready.
Not a camera ready crab. Look, you got entrees coming. This is not it, you know.
I've never
one.
gotten beyond this stage. The peanut chicken and the squab. So this will be a virgin experience for me. And I'm running out of those.
We're about to dive into our
Oh, yeah.
entrees, including prawns cooked in spinach and chicken with walnuts, and a specialty of the house, Mr. Chow's noodles, which are handmade at the restaurant every day. To make this house specialty, noodle makers like this one work a 15-pound piece of dough made out of water and flour, repeatedly pulling, stretching, and twisting it for about 20 minutes until the dough separates into thin strands.
So these are the Mr. Chow noodles, a dish they've been serving for London, LA, and New York for 25, 30 years.
Never
and that's
seen them.
That's you've never seen them because you've
Never
never had an
even
entree in
seen
a restaurant. You've only...
I do get in ruts, but you know what? There's something very comforting about the familiar. And I get a little taste for something, and I want to come back and I want to have that
Well,
taste again.
we're taking you through the old
Hey,
and the
a
new
little,
at the same
right,
time.
Oh, that's
It's
plenty.
wonderful.
Thank you so much. I'm just a little bird of a thing. I don't eat much.
Oh, no. If you could eat one food without any consequence, as much as you wanted, every day for the rest of your life, and it's never going to affect you in a negative way, what would that food be?
I think it would have to be Maryland blue crabs.
You would eat as many, every day you would just load down on crab.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
chocolate cake, not
Oh,
peanut
no,
butter
I'm not
and jelly.
a sweets person at all.
Not at all.
No. I'd rather have a second glass of wine any day than a dessert.
Well, let's have
Or
that.
a second bottle.
How about this? Is there anything that you can't resist, that you can't keep at home, can't keep in the house because you love it so much and you know you just can't go for it? A lot of people have that issue, you know.
Do they?
Yeah.
I guess Gurgitch Chardonnay, Gurgitch Hills Chardonnay. It's our house wine, and I.
You have trouble
wanna know the
resisting the
truth?
house wine.
Yeah, it's a good house.
What's the earliest in the day you've ever had a glass of wine?
Noon.
Noon?
Yeah, but I always say, gee, it's noon somewhere.
That's good. Well, it's 1:15 here.
I
Let's
know
go.
it. I mean, please.
I'm trying to force it on you here. I just said
noodles are
we
good.
must talk a little bit about the other guests on the show. I mean, we've got Placido Domingo.
An old pal, a
Winona
wonderful guy. Good,
Q.
good,
Give me your quick impressions. Quincy Jones, what's that mean to you?
sheer talent, soul. He's the best. He's the best at what he does. Placido, gentleman, lovely gentleman. When I first came to New York 18 years ago, I did a special for ABC with him. It was his special called 7 Women I Love. And I was the 8th woman.
Nice booking.
You know what? I've got a good inner constitution, don't I, that I was okay with that. I was thrilled. And then I'll never forget, we were out at the fountain at Lincoln Square for the last note, which was, the last song was Steppin' Out With My Baby.
That's nice.
And all of us are lined up, Susan Anton, Maureen McGovern, we're all these women. I'm at the very end because I was
Right.
the 8th woman. And it was so funny, but when opera singers who are so brilliant at what they do, singing their material, but when they try to sing something out of their genre, he's going, stepping out with my baby. And I remember thinking, it's baby. It's not bibby, it's baby.
No, it's Rowan and Martin. We're doing the Bippy. Right?
The baby.
Right.
It cracked me up.
Well, listen, I'm going to play Name That Tune with you.
Okay.
Test me. Give me a test.
La la.
La la.
That's what I had to do. I was the la la lady. La la.
Summer me, winter
And
me.
life is worth living, but only worth living if you're
Born free.
Hi.
Good.
Shouldn't sing at a restaurant, but it's
Well,
just
it's
you and
empty.
me, baby.
As time passes, the years go by, things fade, and yet things can be bright. How do you think you're going to remember your experience on Live?
I almost look back at the last 15 years like a fabulous 15-year fluke.
A fluke.
I thought I would stay with Regis 2 years at the most, because I'd done Good Morning America. Back then, it was all telepromptered, and I knew
Right.
I'm not a teleprompter kind of gal. I wasn't happy. I didn't feel creative, and I thought, well, I'll spend 2 years with Regis, have a good time, put some money in the bank, and then go back to LA and sing and dance
Right.
my way into oblivion, as most people do. So I never got into this business to be famous or to be rich. I got into it as a little kid because it was what I loved to do.
Now, if you could be, you and Frank and the kids, anywhere in the world tonight for dinner, you don't have to work the next day, you've got the whole day off, you can do whatever you want, where you want to be, other than home?
In America, I'd rather-
Anywhere.
Nantucket.
Nantucket.
Nantucket, Massachusetts.
Got a restaurant up there?
They'd kill me if I said one. Capri, Italy, or Positano, Portofino.
How about the San Pietro Hotel?
San Pietro Hotel at the very top on that deck. All right,
That's-
I'll meet you
that's-
there.
that's the place I
Next
always-
meal, next summer.
That's fine.
You pay.